Morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so it's 10 o'clock. It's the clubhouse. It's Friday. I believe this is the trash meeting. So just checking my calendar. So, okay, I'm glad to see a big turnout. We do have a lot of people here who will talk to answer your questions. I know you have a lot of questions. I like that they brought in an example. So a couple of things. One, a board representative would like to talk to us, and I will introduce him. And then we have a team here from Republic, as well as Linda Martin, who's running this with me. Dominic Fujiniti, he'll introduce his team. But first, I just want Jeff Hebner from the board. He's going to come, just wants to say a little bit to everybody. Jeff, and I appreciate that Jeff's here.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jeff Hebner. I reside at 415 Ocean Parkway. I am a member of your board of directors, and I've been asked to speak on behalf of the board this morning. Although we do have 4 members of the board present today. So thank you for the time. Our community has been very pleased with Republic over the past few years. However, we seem to be at an inflection point. Due to the current changes that we are all seeing made to the service, this has become a huge concern for our community. Republic, you must be aware that our community consists of about 50% part-time residents. The other 50% of full-time residents has an average age of about 62. In whole, our community is one that is very happy and very satisfied with the life in the Pines. Why? The association is focused on providing superior safety, top-tier amenities, quality governance and administration, community beautification, and the availability of services that we all need. I must add that this is accomplished for what we feel is a very fair and community competitive homeowner association fee. The association is well in tune with the needs and sentiment of our community. This is accomplished through the administration's attention to robust social media platforms. The pulse of the community is also monitored by your board of directors through our connection and interaction as we listen to our neighbors. The changes in the service that are causing this inflection point at this time, we feel, has been the transition to these larger trash cans, discontinuing the use of smaller cans, and no pickup of trash bags. The larger cans are creating problematic issues, with some just due to the size and weight of the can itself. And with others, it's due to the inability to properly store this larger can. To some, the size and weight of the can is just too large due to physical limitations. To others, the size and weight of the can is just too difficult to roll over up the gravel driveways that many of us have in the Pines. Many residents resort to using their own smaller cans because the size and weight of the previous can can make it unmanageable. We also have several townhome neighborhoods that do not have the space to either store the larger cans in a small one-car garage or the space to adequately screen the cans from the front view. Additionally, we have single-family homes with smaller garages or those without garages where the same issue exists. The park is a good example of this. The Open Pines Declaration of Restrictions require all cans be stored in a manner so they are not visible from the front view. Many store their cans in garages or other rooms, or they take extra steps to provide an acceptable screening. The inability to use larger cans results in our residents using smaller cans, trash bags, or even taking their own trash to the transfer station in Berlin. The recent transition to larger cans and not allowing our residents to either use smaller cans or bag trash is negatively impacting our community. This inconvenience will force the use of other alternatives, and we imagine that will also negatively impact Republic revenues. Since the recent change, I've seen a substantial number of cans either left at the curb or placed in their yards in full view. This is a safety hazard for walkers, runners, and bikers, and is aesthetically unpleasing. Our general manager and his staff, supported by the board, have worked very hard and continue to work hard to beautify our community. Now, as you go down the Parkway and travel the back streets in our neighborhoods, what you see is a line of bright blue cans. To conclude, we ask Republic for consideration to allow alternative methods for trash collections to remain as it has in the past. I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you to the board. So pretty much everybody in this room and everybody have utilized the information at oceanpines.org. Once again, the process worked. It was effective, it was efficient, it got your questions, your issues, your points to us as well as to the board. And we were able to discuss with our contractor who's here now, and I will introduce them where they will talk to you about what they're doing to address this. Just as an aside, anytime there's change, there is some chaos. And I know you don't want to hear that, but it's what we do with it, how we address it afterwards. And I truly believe this team here and everybody else is addressing it. So with that said, Dominic, and he'll introduce his team from Republic. Dominic.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dominic Fulgenetti. I'm the municipal manager for Delaware, Maryland, South Jersey, and parts of PA. I'm joined by Garrett Burns. He runs the operation that collects trash and recycling and the yard waste for the community, as well as Anthony Sprigo and Greg. Anthony is our general manager for the entire BU. He actually is a resident of Pines as well. So he's well versed in, what's been going on in the Pines as it relates to the change in the carts. To give you some background, the reason how's that better? The reason for the change over to the carts is starting around 2017, the industry as a whole started to transition to watching the industry. There was labor shortages, call outs, all sorts of things. A lot of it involves safety. And we started to transition to cart collection service like you see here. And so what we found is when you put carts at people's homes, typically the disposal volume goes down, the recycled volumes go up. Oftentimes what we found is you have less rodents, it's cleaner. And while you do see the blue carts, the flip side of that is you would see a variation of all different types of trash carts throughout the Pines. So in looking at the Pines and looking at the way municipal services have sort of transformed over the past 8 years or so, we put forward the idea of carting Ocean Pines so that you'd be secured of getting service moving forward. Just as you know, it's not just Republic Services that's moving to this cart type situation. It's Waste Management, it's GFL, it's Blue Hen. You can see them all over up and down the Parkway. Now, we do understand that the 95-gallon carts could be problematic for certain folks, and we do have a solution for that. It should take about, well, our plan is to put 90 days to kind of gather all the sort of hot residents that are going to need transition to a smaller car. And then at that point, we would be able to come forward with a smaller cart. So this is a 36-gallon cart, no bigger than what you'd find at a Home Depot, or very similar to probably what you have in your house, but a lot more robust, will last for many years. And it's about 10 pounds lighter than a 95-gallon cart. That's about 9 inches less wide. And obviously it's shorter as well. So that's kind of a backstory of what we've been doing. I would add, though, as part of the renegotiation, we did a couple things. Anthony lives here, and he basically spoke to the fact that there's a leaf waste situation. So we're adding 6 leaf waste pickups throughout the fall season. And we think that with a twice-a-week service, once-a-week recycle, the carts to clean up the community, and the addition of the leaf waste, we should be able to provide all your trash and recycling needs. Yeah, sure. Anthony's going to jump in.
Morning, everyone. Dominic mentioned Anthony's burrito. I'm talking voice without this, but I've been living here in the Pines since 2017, public since 2010. I have gone through dozens of transformations where we've added cars. The first thing I want to touch on, which is the same thing that was in our opening speech from the board member, is safety. My employees work very hard to keep the entire state and towns clean. And if any of you are aware, as we've, 50 years old, I'm not a kid anymore, things have changed. I don't get to go into a bank anymore. I get to use direct deposit. I'm not out with my dad sawing a tree. I can use a chainsaw. Things have become automated and involved so that people don't hurt themselves. In our industry, it is the 5th most dangerous industry in the world. I want you to know that. Feel free to look it up. It's not a lie. Our employees, when they're outside of the truck, are at risk of getting hit. This allows us to have no employees outside of the truck risk getting hit. It happens. We have an employee in Texas who was doing the right thing, servicing a container outside the truck, trying to bring the container back up to the resident's driveway, and was struck by a distracted driver looking at their cell phone and killed. I do not want to go to any of my employees' homes and tell them that your father, your son, your brother is no longer with us anymore because someone hit them. And I have 2 phones over there on a table. I'm a double distracted person. It's out there. You know it. Here. I have a neighbor who tailgates me on a 25-mile-an-hour road. Our trucks are big. They're blue. They have lights, but somehow people just don't pay attention. The other thing, and again, that's the extreme, but it's reality. Google it. It happens. Our employees manually lifting these containers and putting them in the trucks is a wear and tear on their body. There was a time where our residential drivers' lifespan in the industry, right around the time they got to 40 or 50, they're having knee surgeries, they're having shoulder surgeries, they're having back issues. We don't want our employees to have a 10, 15-year window. We want our employees to be in it for the gold watch and retire at 62. We have Mr. Ollie, who services residential. He's 68 years old. And because of automation, he can continue to work and provide for his family, making a good living. So I do understand that there is some inconvenience with the carts, but with every problem, there's a solution. And we got to be open-minded. And as John mentioned, change stinks. There's a lot of change in the world. And sometimes it always seems impossible until it's done. And then next thing you know, you get your cart, whatever it's the smaller cart, the bigger cart, whatever it becomes. And then 90 days from now, it becomes normal and we move on to the next change, right? So be open-minded with this. We're going to offer solutions. The other thing in the Pines for anyone, and I'd be shocked if anyone does just throw loose bags out. I got a rabid fox that roams around my neighborhood that I'm scared you know what of. That thing's foaming at the mouth, would get in the bag. So we talk about beautifying our community. You got to have it in some kind of a cart. Absolutely. If this doesn't work and we got 6,500 customers that we service and there's 40 people in this room, that's a very small percentage. And I know there's a ton of people watching, right, and listening. It's a small percentage of people that need an adjustment, and we can work with that. Patience, got to gather the information of what we need. But again, the gist of it, of the 6,500 homes, 6,200 of them have no issue with a 95-gallon cart. And if you think about the millions of customers that we service throughout Republic Services, a very small percentage of them struggle with carts. So that's why we're here to offer some kind of solutions. And all I ask of you is to be open-minded. And once again, even though I am the general manager of Republic Services, I am also your neighbor. So.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Dominic. So at this point, would like, if anybody has any questions or comments, constructive, to take a few minutes, come up and ask the questions. Dominic and Anthony said they're open and their team are open to answer them. I thought they did a good job answering the questions we received. So if we can, just show me who wants to come up. This lady first. Yep. Yeah. Do we have a mic? Where's Keith? Do we have a mic for the lady? You got it.
Okay, I'll try. Okay, first, I have a fabulous team in the park on Chester Street. I really like them. They've been very accommodating. It's two quick questions. One is, can you give me the dimensions? Because I know the dimensions that can fit in my garage. With the problem we have besides, it's also that garage sensor thing that sticks out. And if you knock it, you're really in trouble. So then I'll get your number and you come over and adjust it. But my other thing is I currently have okay, it's number 2. I cannot take something to I can wheel that down, but then I can't get back. So how are you going to handle the reasonable accommodation people under the ADA? Yes.
Yeah. Still best to have it in the cart, so they can wheel the cart down, put it right to the, so again, the way the truck works, it's like the recycling truck, right?
Understand.
It just picks it up, so it's just easier for them, so they don't have to, the recycling truck, or the garbage truck, the height of the hopper is like this, so we gotta pick bags up, we talked about shoulder, back injuries.
Yes.
We gotta get bags up like this.
Right.
In the rear load trucks, they're lower, they're almost like this table now, so it was a little different. Then, you have the risk of that second person being outside the truck, behind the truck, versus now the employee, if he has to throw something in, he's beside the truck, so the truck becomes his protection. But nothing would change with that as long as we have the account notice.
So, and the current wheeled cart I have is 22 by 16 that fits between my car and the sensors. What is? And the top of sorry.
It's 36 by 19 and a half, basically.
I know from the wall to the openings, we're around 22 inches, and then sensor is probably a couple more inches.
Well, plus the car.
So this is coming out to 22 inches.
Yeah.
What's the other way? The other way is 21 inches. So I guess it's 36 if there's one.
So I'm more
22,
concerned-
Honestly.
There,
opinions of-
It's thinner at the bottom.
Thinner at the bottom, yeah.
right, but that would be the, because I could probably
Yeah.
get that around the car, but this around the sensor in the car.
So definitely with the sensor is probably 25, 26 inches. It's 22 inches normally from the wall, because I measured mine.
Okay.
Would you say those dimensions again, please?
Yeah, so it's 22. 22, the wall 22, and then this way it's 21.
Lewis, please.
So the bottom is thinner.
Well, the front does.
Look to the wheels.
The bottom with the wheel, 21. 22, 21, 22, and a little over. Should fit. Joe, I get you, Joe. You may need to.
Good morning, Joe Reynolds, 84 Watertown Road. To me, this looks like a reasonable solution. But there are several issues that still need to be addressed. Number one is how will the larger cans that have already been delivered be replaced? And what process would people have to go through to get this smaller can? Number two, if the driver will leave the truck, how do you comply with picking up 3 or 4 bags of yard waste with each garbage collection? And that waste is in bags. Require the driver to get out of the truck.
So we're going to gather a list of what needs to be exchanged. We have to order these carts. This is not a common mold for us, so they're not readily available. They have to do a special order. It'll probably take 6 to 8 weeks for us to get these carts. Gary's going to come up with a plan that he'll announce when we're all done here on number you're going to call, which many of you already had. And we've been getting a running list of what we need to collect. And obviously, most likely that'll be exchanged. For the yard waste, what's great about the carts is you empty the cart and then you take those bags of yard waste and put them back in the cart and have the truck do the, that's why some kind of cart needs to be available.
Understand? At the street, alongside of it is 3 or 4
Yeah.
yard waste bags.
Yep.
How is that done?
I just explained that. They pick the trash up and then they put the yard waste back in the can and they empty it again. Right now on your trash day, your yard waste and trash are combined. There is no separate disposal for yard waste. On our separate yard waste collections that we're doing in the fall, that's going to be done manual with a rear load and they're going to just throw those bags in.
I still don't quite understand. There are 3 bags sitting there. The guy picks this up, dumps it. How does he handle those 3 bags?
He's putting those 3 bags in the cart so the cart can then pick them up.
From the inside of he can do it remotely? Oh, he's got to get out of the truck. Oh, okay. Okay, all right, okay. I only asked because when I called the sales department, they told me if anything is out there that requires getting out of the truck, it won't be picked up. So that's a
No.
mistake.
Yeah, that's not true.
Okay,
That is not true. All right.
thank you.
Can you all hear me, or do I need to get on this?
Yeah, you're good.
They can hear me.
You're good.
Mike, you want me to- Oh, what's your- I guess so.
Guess I'm gonna work. Sure. My name's Richard Neiman. That is really loud. Try that. And 4 years here in Ocean Pines, okay, since 1984. Well, let's try this again. Every now and then it works. What do you think, Joe? How's that? You can't hear me back there. Okay, I just had a few things to say, and I'm not here to offer too many solutions, but one of the things that I think is obvious is that in my case, I took the big dumpster that carried 3 dead bodies And next to it, we had the one that carried the recycling. And I have a double car garage, but I said, I'm not taking up all that space. So there went the recycling. And I understand the recycling is now profitable again, I think. I'm not sure. So by going to smaller cans, maybe people would even take 2 cans and they end up with recycling again. That could help. The trash trucks. I'd like to tell you, I really wished I'd taken a little short strip photo or a little reel of what they do when they come to my house. They come by and they have the side load truck. Number one, nobody gets out into the traffic. Nobody gets into the back and tries to get caught and smashed with the trash and found later at the landfill. They pull up the can that I have one that's bigger than this. Obviously, this is a little puppy. But at any rate, they pick it up. And I watched the other day, my trash man, person down from me had something that just didn't fit. He was so adept at using that fork, he didn't have to get out and do anything. He went and stuck that underneath the other stuff and boom, right in there. One guy even left a trash can and something else. Boom, it was in there. So, I mean, the service, and then that service, that gentleman, that particular gentleman, and you all probably know who I'm talking about. His name is AJ. So if you put him on to teaching everybody, you'd have the best trash service, at least in Ocean Pines.
Yeah.
Amen.
Okay.
Absolutely. Amen.
But so consequently, you got a lot more safety in doing what you're doing. Some of my experiences in those 40 years, you had the trucks come in, and I won't use the name Waste Management or anything like that, but the trucks would come in and they would leak hydraulic fuel. The brakes would come in and go. And I don't know about you all, I don't like to hear that noise around about 7 in the morning. So the equipment these people are using are a lot better. And I understand exactly where you are, because I take pride in my little cage in the garage. You know, I want more space if I can. The problem, in my opinion, comes down to, well, one of the issues you talked about, the bags. Whatever's out there, AJ will get in that truck. Yeah, I haven't seen him pick up an elephant yet. But anything is out there, he probably wouldn't have to reload all these, because if those bags are heavy, yes. If they're wet, yes. But generally speaking, he empties that. He picks up whatever else might be out there, throws it in there. And bless his heart, now I'm probably getting in trouble, he takes it up my driveway. The only thing that costs me every year, in addition to our trash charges right now, is a tip at Christmas time. So I think we have the best trash service we've ever had here. But I think the problem comes down to what you were talking about, size container and the way this thing was put out. They just drop off new containers. I'm about 80 years old. I have a friend that's about 84 now. He said, what am I supposed to do with what's left over? I said, damned if I know. So he didn't know what to do with that. I can't understand why you can't take one off the truck new and put an old one there in its place, but that must be high tech. So I think that was one of the biggest problems right there. The other is whether or not you have a container that's big enough.
He's going to address with you.
Okay, that's good. No, that's it pretty much. So what I'm,
Still address.
well, what I'm saying, I think that we've got a good service here. I will add it one more time. I don't get to talk trash much. But at any rate, I was just down in the villages in Florida. They have 169,000 homes right now. And I was running this place. I said, what do I do with my trash? He said, put it in a bag out front. We did, it was gone. Wasn't any containers.
Okay.
How they do it, the do to a front.
And just to address that real quick, sir,
Sure.
thank you for the compliment for AJ, who's been doing this for 30 years. And thanks to automation, he'll probably do it for another 20.
Okay, there was a couple of questions on the pickup or whatever.
The question you had was regarding extra containers that people have. Was that, did I understand that correctly? Yeah, so that was on us. If there was an old container there, the way that this was set up and negotiated was we were going to, the Pines was set up where some people were renting carts, other people didn't have carts. It was a real kind of hodgepodge of things. So what we decided to do was get rid of the rental charges for everyone, and then give the remaining residents carts. Turns out the list was maybe not as clean as it could have been. And so in your case, you were delivered, an extra container. And we're going to set up a date to collect those containers and get them off the streets for anybody that needs that. One other thing I did want to add, that the safety is a huge portion of why we did this. But one of the things that your board member hit upon was this whole issue of keeping costs under control. And we're faced with that as well. And when we look at a beautiful community like Ocean Pines, we looked at it and we said, well, we want to participate in this, but we're just unable to continue with this model of rear load service. So what we wanted to do was basically put together a system that in 3 years, when you guys bid this out again, in theory, you should be able to get more competitive bids because it's set up in a more modern system. And it's also going to keep your costs under control as well. That's just yeah. And it's really something that you guys have a lot of service here. It's a great community in terms of collection. But getting those carts out there was kind of a key thing to move this thing into the 21st century.
Every car, the gravel drive, to have that humongous thing dropped in my driveway. I can't get it between my two cars in the driveway unless I'm parking in the bushes that separate us. I almost had it touching it. There was no thing, any communication that said, oh, you could have a smaller can. So I wouldn't have had my back in an uproar
Sure.
if I could have had that, or even the size of the recycling pan.
Understood.
I put my garbage out once a week, my recycling out every other week. There's a ton of us that are just two people in a house, and that big garbage pail, it would take me a month to fill that. I mean, that's ridiculous. If we could have an alternative. It's good, you're always there, you let us know if the truck breaks down or something like that. I'm not unhappy with that. The size of the pail, don't touch.
That fits for you though, that works?
Yep,
There you go.
They-
Solutions.
they heard you.
So just to touch on the part with the cans, right? I've been here about a month. I think 2 weeks ago, me and Greg, we went out to the park because we were getting complaints. So we actually, honestly, we went to random houses that we felt like we could see their garages. We ran into Miss Linda, who is the HOA president in the park. She showed us her garage. We went in her garage. We played around with the cans, and that kind of sparked the whole conversation on smaller cans. I transferred from New Jersey, where there's a lot of 55 plus communities, and any communities that we dealt with that were 55 plus, we always offered smaller cans just because we understand it's a lot harder for you guys to maneuver. We understand that you have less trash than people that have full families. So that's really how that conversation started. So thank Ms. Linda for that. And that's the direction we're going to move in the park and the whole Pines for people that need the smaller cans. So
Great. Okay, Cindy, I got you. Yeah, just hit the button. Right here.
I'm Cindy. I work for Ocean Pines Progress, but I also live in Ocean Pines on Water Green Road. Just a couple of clarifications. So with the yard waste, should we just be putting it in with our trash in those trash cans?
So you can on collection day,
Right.
but on the separate yard
On the
waste
separate
stick,
ones.
they need to be in the brown bags because they're going to go to a composting facility.
Very good.
So we just don't have the equipment to be able to do that on the regular trash
Sure.
days. But that's why we figured we could add those extra 6 collections,
Uh-huh.
which will be unlimited. Right now, it's a 5-bag limit. when we come through on those every other week between north and south, if you have 50 bags out, we're taking 50 bags. But we were just somewhere by the yacht club, the circle that kind of goes outside of the yacht club, and somebody had 10 bags that were in hefty bags. Yard waste cannot be collected in the hefty bags on the separate yard waste collections. But in the trash, if you can fit it in the cart, it'd be easier, yes.
Okay, great. Also, I see people, and this might have changed now that we have the other bins, but just put regular bags out. I'm confused as to whether those are going to be collected or not.
Yeah, so I'm gonna need clarification on this because
No,
the previous contract was unlimited trash,
It's
not
still,
bulk.
it still is. So just
So-
to clarify, when we
Yeah.
put the carts out, the standard language is cart contents only. However, the Ocean Pines, you have situations like this and we're able to collect extra bags.
Yeah, and we would just reload the container. Now, that does not include bulk items or construction debris,
Right.
right? But if you happen to have a wild, crazy Halloween party and you got 10 extra bags of cannoli dip or whatever, and it's along the side of it, we're
Okay.
gonna refill the container, and that if they're light, to your point, yeah, AJ can throw a couple light bags in, but if that yard waste gets heavy, wet and ridiculous, they have an option now. They know their limits, right? Every one of us is different. If he can manually throw it in the side of the truck, he will. If not, he's got the container that he can put it into and then use the automated, but yes.
Okay, and just one third comment. I love Republic. You guys have done a great job.
Thank you.
I want to specifically commend our recycling guy. I think his name is Olin.
Thank you.
He's so fantastic. I
Thank
love
you.
him.
Yes.
And so
Thank
just
you.
want to say good
Appreciate
things
that.
about him.
Thank you.
Okay, I know there was a couple more questions. We're going to increase the frequently asked questions with the answers to all the questions today. Linda will do that. Okay, I know I had a lady here, then George, and I got two over here. So.
I'm a teacher, I can talk louder if I need to. I have lots of broken bones. I'm 87. I'm a widow. I have nobody to help me take the cans in and out. And it's very frustrating because I can't do anything about that. But it's because of my physical disabilities and being 87 and not here, but my body's falling apart. There are a lot of us like that, right? In Ocean Pines. I know there used to be more when we were all retired community, but I'm a 45-year teacher and I've tried everything. I can't move that thing. I called the company. You guys are great. I've never had a problem either. I called the company and they, with the Galvins, they said, I will get permission for one of our guys on the truck to come in to walk over and get your garbage can and then take it back. Well, I can't get it out of my garage. And it's in my garage now, but I can't get it out. So I'm just speaking for those of us that are stuck physically. Thank you.
So hang tight. We'll talk after the meeting. Okay. Where do you live? North or south side? Which is that, north or south? South side. Okay.
George.
What is the procedure to trade in our big cans for the little cans?
So we're gonna take a list. Hopefully we get this list in the next 30, 60 days. Everybody that's on the list will come and exchange your cans.
Sign up on the list.
If you live in the park, I know the park is doing their own thing for as far as sign up. Ocean Pines, we'll get with John and we'll have an area where you guys can contact and we'll add you to the list. Or if you call us directly, we probably have.
Why don't you go up and
Or you directly, they don't know anything about it.
give the,
Okay.
we're gonna give the local office.
Would we get somebody in Phoenix or something?
Now, we're gonna give you the local office number in Del Mar.
Okay.
Thank you, George. I saw two here, the lady and then Bob.
Request them, or how's that work?
Yeah, the idea was to basically get carts to people that didn't have them. If you need a cart though, we can provide you.
Yeah, because we use our own, and I don't have a recycling one either, so I
Yeah,
don't.
it sounds like you were on the list and should have been.
So
I'll get your name.
Yeah, let me get, we'll get your address before we leave.
All right,
It's
thank
just
you.
that delivered.
All right, thank you.
Bob,
Jeff made a good point about the demographics of Ocean Pines. We got just about everybody here. One thing I notice every spring is that you have a number of folks who have left sometime in October to go down to Florida. They come back in April and May, and they start raking leaves that have fallen between October and April. And then you have a lot of yard waste to deal with, not in the fall when you're proposing to put extra shifts on, but in the spring when these folks come back and clean up their yards for the summer. So I would hope you would look at that problem so that when things start to bloom and the pines really looks nice, you don't have all the leaf bags sitting out with people saying, what am I going to do about it?
Yeah, so in the bid specs, it's still 5 bags of yard waste to be collected twice a week. That's 10 bags a week. That's a lot of yard waste. We threw in there kind of as a freebie, we were going to do these 6 in the fall. And I got that from all our lovely Facebook comments that I always read. Anything written about trash waste or yard waste, I'm on it like a hawk. And I just thought it was a good idea to present that something in the fall for the, for those that don't leave, right? I don't get to go to Florida. So we'll take that under consideration maybe in the next bid. But as of right now, we have extra resources in the fall that we don't have in the spring. We are a seasonal division. So you know what this area is like. The volume in the spring and summer, and I'm talking trash, triples. In the fall, our guys are pretty much storing nuts for the winter. So this is keeping people working. It was a little extra opportunity that we had to have bodies and equipment. And that's why it's convenient for us to be able to do it in the fall, but we'll take it under advisement for the spring. But you still have 10 bags in the spring that could be collected, and that is a lot.
okay, I think that's it. 2 more.
I really want to thank you all for the good job you do. I lived in Anne Arundel County where my trash collection, which was hellaciously expensive, we always had to pick up behind you. But I also want to say that I'm really pleased to hear you say you're worried about your employees, because since some of the people in the Pines over abused our sucking up of the leaves and things, and now it's all hitting into the trash cans, we've watched our neighbors pow into those trash cans. And we're 2 people, sometimes even occasionally, one of the neighbors have to help you lift it. Thank you again for worrying about your employees. I know I'm old too. I have a pacemaker. My husband has bad shoulders. We are part of that. Okay. But we watch what people have done and abused what you've been doing. Thank you for protecting your employees.
Thank you.
And I did, I did notice I saved you on that one, John. I did notice that we got rid of the leaf collection and I used to watch my whole neighborhood rake their leaves into the curb line and avoid that. So that is kind of where that idea came up in the spring. You're welcome, John.
No, I was going to say, I do appreciate they work with us in with the leaf, and it's really helped Ocean Pines. Okay, I had one more lady. I rented the room to 11, so we're pretty much there.
I'm Linda Jervelin and I live up on 2 Beacon Hill. I have a question. So we're being forced to now use the cans. Am I correct? You are not going to have trash collection unless we physically use that can, whether it be small or large, to have our trash collected by Republic.
What is your alternate?
I put trash bags. I don't put them out early. I put them out the day the trash people are coming. I put my black bags out.
I don't force anyone to do anything.
You're going to collect my trash if I put the black
If
bags
you're throwing a bag out and you absolutely want to be adamant, and we can have a conversation after this meeting, and you want to be the one out of the 6,500 people that we collect that
Sounds
throw in
good
a
to me.
container,
Yeah.
and you want to risk
I
that.
don't think I'm alone, because Ocean Pines is forcing you to go hide the trash can, and you're forcing us to use it.
Well,
We have no room to hide a trash can. And I would say in my particular section, there's trash cans at in the front of the garage doors, in the front, then nobody hides them in our area.
I don't.
So if I can leave it at the end of my driveway every day, no problem.
Yeah, well, that's usually not, it doesn't look right.
Well, I agree with you,
Hmm.
but you guys are forcing this one.
Well, we're not forcing anyone. I'm
Okay.
an Italian from Philly. I have
Yeah.
forced people to
Well,
do things. This is not something that I'm forcing you to do.
And then you're telling people they have to go and buy
I'm
the
tell-
brown bag.
I'm telling you the
to put their
container,
leaves in.
I'm telling you the container is usually a win-win for everyone because again, those loose bags on the
Okay.
side of the street, if an animal were to rip those bags open, we are not cleaning that up.
Okay, thank you. You made your point. Thank you. All right. Okay, so thank you very much. No, you made your point. I heard it too. They'll talk to you afterwards, they said. Okay, I just want to thank everybody, constructive, professional. I want to thank Republic, the board, and all of you and everybody else. Hopefully, I believe we're moving in the right direction. Thank you very much. They are going to stay to take any
Gary's-
questions.
John,
Ma'am.